All right. Hi, software. Welcome to video one of two of your Sine lessons. As you read or saw in your weekly work, you've seen this animation of a fan moving back and forth, and we learned that this is called oscillating motion, where something moves smoothly between a certain range and it just kind of automatically goes back and forth. And one of the ways that we can create this oscillating motion is with something called sine, which is our very first trig function. Way back when, the ancient Greeks noticed that there were some interesting relationships in right triangles, and among those things, they learned that sides have specific ratios, and that those ratios occur exactly every single time. Sine is one of those ratios that compares the opposite side of an angle to the length of the hypotenuse to create a ratio. So it is taking in an angle, it's returning a ratio. And when that ratio is converted to a decimal value, it's always going to return something between -1 and 1. Now, it is totally okay if the idea of hearing trigonometry or trigonometric functions or even the word sine sounds like a mess to you. It is more than okay if that's like scary math that you're a little bit afraid of like wading into the depths there. All of that is fine. I am not really worried about you doing the math here. P5 and JavaScript, they're the ones that are going to do the math. What you have to do is just understand the types of values that you're going to get back from sine so that you understand how and when you should be using and applying it. So sine, we know whatever number we plug in is an angle. So angles can be anything 0 to 360. Realistically, in a triangle, it's anything, I guess 0 to 178 would be like a realistic measure. Um, we don't have to worry about plugging in exact numbers. It's going to take care of that for us. What we do have to know is when we plug in those values, our sine starts to change as our angle increases. So when we have an angle of 0, our sine value is also 0. We can see this on the graph. And it's really hard to see because it's small, but as our angle starts to get bigger, so this is opening up to like a 45-degree angle, we see our sine value dipping down towards -1. It gets bigger than 90, we see our sine values start to go back up. We have a sine value of almost 180, so we are almost back at 0. And as we cross 180, we see it going all the way up to 1. As we keep going around, we see it drop back down, and we see like this wave pattern being created. So what that means for us is that when we are oscillating between 1 and -1, we can use that sine function to grab those values. And before we can really start seeing how this is used, we need to do a little bit of experimentation with what types of values we're given. And then once we have those values, what we can do to them in order to apply them to our program. So we are going to take a look at that in a separate video that will have a code along attached to it. For right now, though, just keep in mind that we are looking to always have a consistent range of values. And right now we know that sine gives us between 1 and -1. See you soon.